It's so sick how
Oh,
I was able to. Yeah, it's called Restream.io is the tech, and
oh,
it'll allow you to do up to two simultaneous streams at once. So I have mine configured for
yeah, yeah.
YouTube and X, but
An X.
it also has
Oh, me.
capability to do like Twitch, which I have a Twitch account as well that I set up for this, and yeah, so
How is Twitch with crypto? Because this is the thing, right? A lot of people don't get this.
yeah, I don't think that it's big, but I mean that could be a good thing if it's an untapped
Yeah,
market, even though it's you don't want to
yeah.
be
You gotta look at their rules and stuff because Facebook is absolutely anti-crypto this way,
oh
unless it's business related. Yes, and Instagram is the same. Instagram is the same. So you actually get your account locked like quite quickly on these social media platforms when it comes to crypto, especially
wow
if you're a crypto token. If you're a
mm-hmm
token, you'll last 24 hours.
okay
So if you're a shiller and you just have a normal account, you just mention some tokens here and there, you should be reasonably okay. But still, you probably will be dragged and deboosted because of it. And they're anti, and that's why a lot of people is like, why don't you have more social media? And they say, well, crypto is not that hot over there. I mean, it's really YouTube and Twitter. Crypto Twitter is a thing, right?
mm-hmm
Because here we have some yeah, we can do these things, and people look on Twitter a lot more about crypto. I mean, it's 80% is crypto on Twitter, right? Not
mm-hmm
not any other social media, but also for the reasons that I just mentioned, right? These social medias are not bullish on crypto, and as a coin, you want to have an account, you'll get within 24 hours, you'll be out. Try make a few posts, and then it's done.
wow
So you never get any traction unless you
huh
on Facebook. You can do it if you have a business that. So this guy that I know here in my country, he has a business and he has his own token for his business, right? So people in his store can pay with the token. And that's the only reason why he's allowed on Facebook. He's a verified business.
that's
And
sick
so yeah, so he can do it. But if you're just a token project and you're wanting to go on Facebook, make an account, you last 24 hours, then you're done.
hmm I'm gonna have to look into that then on
Yeah.
Twitch if that's a thing. I just figured it might be like
Yeah.
an untapped market.
Yeah, TikTok is not that friendly either. I mean, it takes a lot for them to find out at one point, right? But uh, yeah, for shilling, maybe if you're just a personal entity. But if you're a project, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time on those. It's basically energy wasted, and that's the whole reason why we don't see big crypto projects either on these social media platform. It's still YouTube and X. I
Mm.
see Lem is here and Red is here. Oh,
What's up, you
you guys
guys?
come up on the panel. It's great that it's not that busy because we had some technical difficulties. But
That
are we
was insane.
streaming on Are we streaming on X now? As on YouTube's? Are
Yeah,
we on both?
yeah,
Awesome,
it should be available on X and
awesome.
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So that worked out. We got that done, and not that bad, right?
I should go
We
ahead
found
and
the
post the
way.
link to it as well on my
Oh
page.
yes, yes, and then put it in the jumbo.
There we go.
Yes, I don't expect it to be busy today. The timeline is not busy, and that's also because I saw a lot of people posting that okay, so they didn't get paid last time around of the monetized account that were basically the reply guys, and I seen a lot already over the last 2 weeks dropping off with blue ticks, so they're still commenting on my post. But it's like 20 of them are don't have that blue tick anymore. I guess maybe the month ended and they were like, yeah, well, I'm not getting paid, so
Wow.
I'm not gonna pay that anymore. And so there we have those. And then the other guys that were wondering why they didn't get paid, they actually got a message today from X that they were violating rules, and so they're not getting paid. And so I think a lot of them gave up. And you really see, in combination with a red market, a little red today, I think people just tapped out.
Hmm.
And maybe even beautiful weather here and there, right? And people were just like, yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not going to be on X today. I'm not going to trade today or look at the markets at all. Mm, they're touching the grass,
Yeah.
which is okay, right? But good for us. So we get to test out this streaming on X and now also on YouTube. So we're
Hmm.
doing two streams. That's great. We're getting a lot of eyes then over time. If we build that out, this is going to be excellent. Thank you so much, Tick, for all the effort there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love doing this.
Yeah, yeah. So let's have a look at Bitcoin. It's Groundhog Day once more,
Hmm.
right? And actually, there was a little bit of a dip, and that's why the market got so scared. That's why they got so scared. Even SUI's not believing anymore. Let me see on the hour where that wick was. It was I actually my alert went off because I actually had a line there. Like we could hold 93, and it actually dipped to 92.9, right? So it went there, retouched, but it got big bounce. I love to see that bounce coming to fruition a little bit more, because we just flipped bearish. That made it flip bearish on the hour, and so there's not a whole lot of volume to coming to save this ship at this point. So if this continues, we may be looking a little bit red tomorrow, and then Friday maybe we're feeling the rally vibes a little bit better. Yeah, we lost due to that wick. We lost some momentum there. We're barely holding up on the 2 hour, that 200 EMA on the 2 hour. It got touched. We fell through. That's never a good thing. Never a good thing. So that 90 high 92s are going to be the new floor here. On the 4th hour, we still very much bullish. So we kept that. That's intact. In order for to null and void that work on the 4th hour that we let me see the time frame. The work that we did from don't you just pop ups in April 14th up till now, all that bullish work, right? All that gaining back ground will be null and void if we lose 91.9. So 91.9 is the one to watch. You need to see if it hits that. We need to see a big bounce, like a rally bounce, all the way back to 95, because then we'll flip bearish again in that 4th hour. We just, we spent 2 weeks working on getting all of that back. So, yes, that's where we're at right now. It's not
Yeah.
looking pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It could always be worse.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
93. It's like look at where we were a week ago. We look out or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm just giving these levels as I have alerts on these. As that happened, and I'm going to, change some tactics. I was a little bit busy today, so there was I would have shorted some things. I'm up on that hybrid token 5% though. That's bullish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add to some positions soon, see where that adds, and then I'm gonna where it ends, and I'm gonna add to some positions on the SUI network, over there, but in particular. And yeah, let's eat. Yeah, eat got scared too. Everything looks like Bitcoin. Actually, the dominance is hiking up. We're getting close to that 65, and so nothing will, unless super bullish outperforming. Nakamoto Games is clearly outperforming. That's the only one in my portfolio that is up 7%. That's up rather big. And the rest, there are some that hang around. TRX is just hanging around there. Actually, Jupiter is holding some sort of floor, but they did have some bullishness to it. It took a lot. Yeah, they look kind of bullish, exhausted on the 4th hour, but that daily that cross down on Bitcoin, that is really coming into play now, and too bad because we just flashed blue on that guppy, and then comes green.
Oh,
So
so on the RSI, is that what you're talking about? The cross and then how it's on its way down now? Is that
well, when it starts to turn down, that's what you call a dead cross.
Uh huh.
and it means down, but it means that, it doesn't say anything about how much down. Sometimes that RSI will come down in low volume, and there is low volume. Also in selling, there's low volume. Let me check volume on Bitcoin. Let me check the volume on the Bitcoin. Bitcoin. 23.2 billion. And on ETH, I bet you ETH is down on volume because the dominance is up. So, um, yeah, see, 11.8. So it lost like 2, 3 billion on, because normally it's split down the middle. Sometimes ETH is up there a little bit, but dominance creeping up. So 23.2 billion volume, 24-hour on Bitcoin. This morning, that was actually, I haven't written it down, but this morning it was significantly lower. We kind of see it. This is also for Bitcoin, kind of low volume. You see it in the candles, right? Especially those daily candles. I mean, they look tiny, tiny, and so not a lot of volume. and Of course, that cross down has got everybody worried on that daily. We were talking about it before. However, the RSI, if you see on the 4th hour, we might just get a creep a little bit down and hold that 92.9 and then move up on that 4th hour. That would be a scenario still.
Oh, how on the fourth hour it's kind of coiling at the bottom a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, it's moving on the bottom, and you kind of want to see it cross back up. You touch that bottom, cross back up. But
Mm-hmm.
look, it made that move. It made that down move in not so much volume. It could have
Mm.
lost more floor, right? So sometimes that just happens, and that RSI comes down because it's time also, right? So you have the longer it takes, but no volume,
Yeah.
right? Then it will just go down and cool down there. So it
Wow.
doesn't always
Yeah.
mean that price has to drag, right? It's
Right.
not a price. It's not a
It could
price
also
indicator.
it could also be an indicator of momentum. Then
It's a
essentially.
yes, but that's the D line. The K line is the blue one. That is the
Mm-hmm.
timeline, and then they always follow each other. And the other one is trend and momentum, right? It's the
Mm.
divergence there. So that's the D line. So when time goes on, and this goes for the upside too. When time goes on, we go out through the day, and there's really no pump, not neither here nor there. That line, if it's a green little candle, will be going up gradually because the trend was still green. Now we're bearish. Now it's red, a red candle. Now it comes down. But the longer we can hold price here, eventually that time line, the K line, will come down out of its own, calm down.
Mm.
It's just the time in the market holding the floor, right, on certain prices. When that happens for a long time, we kind of agree, and then we go back into an oversold condition again
Mm.
automatically. So
And
that's just time and momentum
and
trend.
forgive me if this isn't correct, but I just kind of want a little help understanding. So this kind of varies from that bull flag because the
Yeah,
trajectory it has an upward trend as it's
yeah,
consolidating towards the top instead of consolidating downward with a
yeah.
the
So
diagonal going the other way. The downward it doesn't have that
actually,
downward.
pretty smart what you're saying right now, right? So when we're looking at a bull flag, that is not the RSI doesn't always follow the movement of what the chart is doing, and that's because we have time as a calculator in there, right? So
Mm,
it does not necessarily reflect the ups and downs in the candles, right?
yeah.
And that's where if there that's where we can spot some what we call divergence on the RSI. So sometimes we see the price go up, but then like in a wedge that goes up, it would be bullish, right? Would be bullish. But on the RSI, it actually shows a divergence that is more bearish. And then we call it's on the down, and then we call that a bearish divergence. And also the other way around. Sometimes price is falling, but the RSI is curling up, 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 right? And it makes a flag. basically the other way around, like it goes up, that's a bullish divergence. So
Is
sometimes the RSI shows you completely something else, and that's why we like it so much. It shows the time and momentum trend.
mm,
And how much steam it got, right? So that's basically what happens then, and so you can spot sometimes a bearish or bullish divergence on the RSI will play out, especially on the longer time frames. On the shorter time frames, they're not so reliable to trade on, actually, because it can also not play out, and you see that mostly not play out when it happens on the lower time frames.
mm.
Well, yeah, maybe some fun to look at some other indicators. uh, Parabolic as our strategy. Trend magic. What was that all about? Let me see if we can pull up some fun. Why is this not moving, you?
And then SUI has what it looks like a little bit of a bear flag then, or like a bull trap, because it's already gone up, been going up for the last week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was climbing, and so now this little dip that we're getting on the tail end of that, the monthly all time high or whatever it is, that little dip, that's basically going to be like a bull trap right there, where it's going to be a little dip.
Could be, yes, very much. Yeah,
Mm,
you spotted that correctly,
but
especially in the higher time frame. Yeah.
yeah, but the sentiment, since the sentiment is so bullish, that's not absolute, and there is a big chance that we're actually going to go the other direction up to
Oh
between
yeah, but
3.6 to 3.8 here in the next
but
couple
that
weeks.
depends. It depends on Bitcoin because the dominance is high.
Mm.
So, but it looks like a fake out. Yes. So, put up that poll all the way to
Oh, when you keep pulling to the left,
380. Yeah.
uh huh,
Yes. And now it's coming down. It's retouching that area over there. And so sometimes it wedges, and then if Bitcoin doesn't do it, price will drop down because it's in a downtrend.
mm-hmm, and it'll find
So what?
stability at like 2.2 or something, like a XRP
Yes.
price. Yeah,
Yes. But we're looking also for a reversal, right? So what does it want to touch maybe after this? Well, the next line would for me be 280, 290, and that's a big buy zone also. So if
mm-hmm,
it breaks down, we can see these prices back again. And that if Bitcoin breaks down, then definitely we're going to see these prices again. That's not an if,
right,
right?
right,
So what we want to see this bull trap do is maybe break to the downside, we touch the 280,
mm-hmm,
and then go.
and then
But then,
rally.
you know, we're looking for a reversal.
Yeah,
And then we're looking for a reversal on Bitcoin too, right? Because the
right,
dominance is so high. Bitcoin is doing right now the same move. Now, is it
right.
a bull trap or is it a bear trap? By all the technicals, it's technically a bull trap, unless it confirms that flip on the daily. That's what we were looking for the whole time, right? To do that. And it looks like it wanted to build a. If you look on a daily, you see clearly it made that W on the bottom, right, for indicating a reversal. And so we're waiting for that to play out. I'm waiting for that to play out. But in order for that to play out, we need some of these levels back. And that 95 was gnarly resistance. And we tried. We tried. And we actually tried for long enough to regain a lot of important moving averages, but also not fast enough with not enough conviction there in with the bulls. So it looks like the bulls need to give up some ground there at that top, but it doesn't mean that we're going all the way back to 75. I mean, technically we could, right? There's actually a scenario for that, but I'm 20-30% on that one.
Yeah,
But it's always there.
I
Yeah.
was having trouble pulling up that big W. So it's called the double bottom right there, right? The big W
Well, yeah, it's not really, but um,
but where
it doesn't have to necessarily be a double bottom for a reversal for that W to come in,
mm-hmm,
right? Um, They can look a little bit different,
Yeah,
the reversals, but
the
yeah.
W on the Bitcoin chart is way more dramatic than the SUI chart. The one,
Yes.
yeah, on the 1 day candles, it's
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but they all kind of look similar. Everything wants to reverse. All these layers want to reverse, but they're all coming and pumped up to their resistance and dealing with their own resistance. Now, some of them are going to have SUI is clearly going to have an easier time with its resistance because it's a young chart. Price hasn't touched there a lot, but on Bitcoin, that 95 to 98, that has been an issue for the price has been there for 3 months. We've been in that zone, touching that price a lot, and we lost it as support. And when you are on something on a price for long and it was always support and you lose it, it's going to turn into gnarly resistance, right? It's been support for so long and now it's going to be resistance for so long. It's going to be a big deal to break.
yeah,
The longer it was in the price range, you lose that floor, it's going to be hard to regain it back. It needs a few price touches. So the chart never looked like it wanted to pump straight from here. I would have loved to see like a jump over that 95, 96 range and take that back as support
mm-hmm.
and retouch some areas maybe in it and then move forward. This is just a delay. But yeah, as long as we can cool that daily RSI down with a little less volume, like Bitcoin doesn't feel the need to retouch any of these very low levels again, or even 88 again, right? I mean, we've been there, done that. We should be 90, like I said, 91, 9, 90.9. These are things that we need to hold. If we don't hold these, we are going to lose that bullishness we worked for in that 4 hour, and then we got to do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it's just a delay in things. I still think that we are going to be bullish in May. And yes, I think, oh, now I'm looking at the news around this. So this is weird to me always. Grayscale launches Bitcoin adopters exchange traded fund. Bullish news, right? It's bullish for Bitcoin. But then there's also some news. Bitcoin drops under 93K after US GDP data shows shrinking economy, raising recession alarms. And I know everybody goes, crazy in recessions and thinking, but Bitcoin has done well with recessions. But there's maybe that initial scare. And even that news hasn't made Bitcoin drop that much at all, right? So people are looking for a reason. It feels more like people are looking for a reason than there's actually some meat to this story. Anthony Scaramucci says Elon Musk likely to use crypto in his planned X super app. Do it and use Doge. What are we saying, fam? Maybe we should get more Doge. Maybe we should just get more Doge. Anthony says,
They're thinking about utilizing it.
yes, use crypto in his planned X super app.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So is that going to be, is he gonna champion Doge?
I can't
That
believe
would be
Doge is still at 17 cents. It's like, I don't understand. I mean, it's just crazy to me because I was holding Doge at some point. I've held it at multiple times. And it's just funny that it's back down to 17 cents because it feels like yesterday, it was living at the 30-40 cents range or
yeah,
somewhere in that ballpark. It seemed like that's
it
where it was
was.
comfortable for a while. In the
Yeah, but you lost the floor and then you're down.
Yeah,
And this is what happens when the Bitcoin dominance drives up. Every floor that Bitcoin loses, your coin's going to lose a floor too. So that's why understanding the dominant cycle of Bitcoin to 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 see where your alts are at and how they are going to behave,
mm-hmm.
so you can have a good prediction of that. And it's you can actually see. I don't sometimes don't even need to look at the dominance. I know it's very high or hiking up because when it's up above 60% on the daily or weekly, more or less, they start to look like Bitcoin in the same move, right? You can spot the same move as Bitcoin's making. The higher the dominance, the more likely you will see that happening on the fourth hour as well. Then they're going to look alike on the fourth hour. It's crazy how that works. And then again, not crazy because, geez, that was a long time since I discussed. I forgot. There was actually an experiment with rhythms. Um, what was it called? It was a time where we were kind of explaining, and then when they put a that musical console that ticks, right? How do you call that in English?
Mm,
It goes from it gives you the rhythm.
not a metronome. You're not
Um,
talking about a metronome?
I'm gonna look up if that's the one. I also need a little bit more coffee.
Gives you the rhythm. I'm having trouble. I don't know. A
It's that pyramid thingy, and it yeah, that's the metronome.
metronome. Yeah, it clicks back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. So they put like they did a science experiment, right? They put one metronome in a room and had a tick, and then they put in 100 more that were going back and forth differently. And given long enough time, they all started to move in the same direction, right? So I, I'm gonna just look it up and
So they all what is it called? Like they resonated together.
yeah, yeah. So you normally can put them on 60 BPM or something,
Uh
right? And
huh.
105 BPM. So they had some on 105, some on 60, and they were all just. But they when they put a bunch of them together, they started to synchronize, and so they're all moving a little bit differently, right?
Uh huh.
But given time, they started to adjust to each other.
Yeah, I'm reading about it right now.
Yeah.
The synchronization of oscillators, and yeah,
Yep. Yep.
damn, yeah,
And
and
see
so,
how we use oscillators on the
yeah,
charts
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yes. See how we are measuring rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually mind blowing how deep that goes, right?
Yeah, yeah. When you start thinking about how waves and particles behave as waves, and then you
Yeah,
start thinking of other
yeah,
things that behave as waves, it's like whoa, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's and we use oscillators on the chart too. So at one point they start to synchronize, and and possibly now there's some more experiments with that when they actually adhere to the first one
Mm-hmm.
there, and it's kind of the same story with Bitcoin. Everything adheres to the first one, starts to synchronize. As soon as the dominance is up, we're just starting to tick tock back and forth in step in line with Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that mind blowing?
It's trippy, yeah. It is. Yeah, things like that are always pretty cool, fascinating.
Fascinating, right? So same thing. A lot of people that they use Fibonacci or Elliott, and both of them actually try to measure expansion and retracement in nature. That's what they did, and that what they found that worked, like the Fibonacci ratio, we use that on the chart too, because we need to understand that what we're looking at in trading is not outside of us. It's formed through our behavior. It's the rhythm of our behavior. What behavior? Emotional behavior related to money. And these things are predictable. So that's kind of mind blowing too.
Mm-hmm.
And Elliot tried to do the same. So that's why we use them, and that's why they are useful in charts, but possibly also in your life. If you put a Fibonacci on your life and you would chart your life, you can definitely see that sometimes you really make a bullish move up, right? But you can only win so much.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the top is in, there's going to be retracement,
Yeah. Yeah, and I know the
right?
feeling of looking at a chart that I'm on, something that I'm holding, and seeing like that vertical line and being like, okay, I'm pushing it. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm way beyond where I should be comfortable. I need to sell, 5 minutes ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But look, if you are hodling, then this is not the dip that I would look for.
Mm-hmm.
I, I would look to add at a bigger dip than this. So for me, it's neither here or there.
Mm-hmm.
If Bitcoin just cracks down, then that's why staying liquid is so important in this game.
So you can accumulate more
Oh
for that
yeah, so
dip.
if Bitcoin dashes down to 77 again, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
just for just a thought experiment,
Right. Then you can make
right?
a
I
quick
would be bullish.
30%.
I still would be bullish because then I can buy better dips. All these altcoins will be, on sale. It's like a flash sale, and you can take advantage because you stayed liquid.
Yeah.
And I
Do you
have Bones
think?
up here. Hello, Bones. How are you?
Hey,
Yo.
what's up?
What up?
What's up?
Hey, do you think we hit a? You guys think we hit the bottom there, or do you guys think it's gonna maybe do some more?
Well, I was just looking at.
I didn't hear anything you said before. If you talked
Uh,
about it,
no, yeah, well, yes, it's hard not to talk about. It's been on the. It's been a topic of conversation for a little bit, especially how price is just holding on these levels. Now, what are we trying to do to stay bullish? We're trying to take out 95, and so far
Bitcoin,
we are.
yeah,
Yeah,
hit
we are having
95,
a
right?
hustle. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's touching it a freaking whole lot, and we're not jumping over, and that is because there's absolutely no volume. So the bulls are trying, but they don't have a lot of power in their moves. We made that big move, right? And then it looks like they just got comfortable up there, and then the bears are gonna be up at 95, pushing everything, suppressing everything. So because there's no volume, so they can do that. There's one thing that bears are scared of, and that's volume for the bulls. And so yeah, that's the mission for us too. Now I'm gonna pull up my thingy again. So I have everything there. Bear with me. So that fourth hour error sign, that move down, right? That first initial move down to that
Uh huh.
wake down to 92.9 or something
Uh
like
huh.
that.
Yep.
That wake down made the RSI curl down, but it doesn't come down tumbling all the way um, yet. So there's a little bit on the RSI to go. But if we can hold this price for 4 hours more, 5 hours more, then that will be on the floor ready to cross back up and gain some momentum on the longer time. Now, then I'm going to look at the lower time frames, but I'm seeing no volume. I'm seeing bullish looking momentum. So we got momentum, but I'm not seeing some candles being printed next. So the last time that we went to that 92.8 even, right? We got a bump up from that. Big candles. And now, not so big candles. So we're starting to lose some faith. There's actually some sell signs showing up on lower time frames. But I don't think we're going to lose a lot of floor. We can be bullish on 91.9. That's what I'm looking for the fourth hour to remain bullish. We can lose all the way up to 91.9. That's
Yeah, and
basically, yeah,
we're still in the Bitcoin dominance area, so it's like for Solana, if Solana
yeah,
is gonna go, or I mean, if Bitcoin goes, Solana's probably gonna go below 140,
yes,
right?
yeah, oh yeah.
So
What is the next floor for Solana?
Well,
Well, it actually
135, yeah.
made, yeah, but it made a better support at 138 this time, right? Because
yeah,
you gotta
okay.
look, you gotta look back where price touched that, and it did. It took a little bit more of that resistance than Bitcoin is actually doing. So that's a bullish thing. But if Bitcoin is losing its shit and it's going below, I would say even 90 would be my thing.
Yeah.
I would already start to look and prepare for things that if we cannot hold 91.9, because that would make us flip on the 4th hour, flip bearish. Then yeah, definitely we're Solana 133. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. However, Solana looks on the daily because
Sui's been holding strong though, huh? That's
SUI has been
yeah,
held. It's
yeah. It's been
starting.
holding nice.
SUI did a better job of regaining its resistance. It hopped over that resistance. Is now retesting that resistance as support. That's what SUI is doing. And then if Bitcoin is just hovering here, SUI will probably outperform and try to push back against that 386 and try to go there again, right? Uh,
Yeah.
there's some momentum there. There's
The
some sideways action there. So we
the
have
I
some.
mean,
go
since
ahead.
since Sui's so new and so cheap, compare, like people
Yeah.
see that number and they see it as cheap, right?
Yeah.
And then they're doing so much. I mean, Sui can kind of run its own way.
Yeah.
It seems
It
maybe
will.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah,
will.
I think it will.
Because that's part of the bullishness around SUI is that, okay, well, it's new. It's actually got good technology, so it has future. Uh, it's applicable, and it did outperform in September, way before Bitcoin started a rally. And I'm expecting SUI to do the same this time. You saw it already doing the same, right? It started to outperform Bitcoin again.
Hmm.
So anticipating a move on Bitcoin. Now tomorrow there is that token unlock on SUI, right? Now previously that didn't do a lot to the chart at all.
So tomorrow, buy maybe.
And maybe, right? Add to the baggio,
Yeah.
add to the baggio time, depending on how Bitcoin looks, because yeah, the dominance, you guys, it's hiking up. It's not coming down. I think we're actually going to 70%.
Okay.
So slowly and surely. And that's a good thing because from 70, right around there, 70, 73, we're looking for a rejection on the dominance chart there. And that would mean
Yeah.
a reef rally, right? So
Hmm.
um, for me, it's like we can't get there fast enough. But Bitcoin means that Bitcoin also needs to be up more. So we're kind of waiting on what Daddy Bitcoin, Forrest Gump of the crypto, is going to do, right? Get a
Yeah.
box of chocolates right now. You get a box of chocolates. I'm still, funny enough, I'm still 80% bullish.
Yeah,
And I would say 20% of that is just vibes.
yeah. There's a lot
Yeah.
that I see that too. I mean, for personally, like one coin that I brought up like a couple weeks ago is AIXBT, and that one was trading at like 8.5 cents, and today
Yes.
it's up on the 1 month. It's, let me see, 7 days. On the 7 day, it's up 29%, and on the month, it's
Yeah,
up
good.
44%. And right now, I'm not holding any AIXBT, but indicators like that, like that's a very like bullish signal to me, because there's a number of reasons why AIXBT shouldn't be where it's at, or it shouldn't be performing well after that the hack that happened and everything, and plus like the
So
negative.
so it's
What is
up
that?
it's up 20 something percent on a week and 44 on a month. That's actually what we saw with the other AI tokens as well. It
Mm,
not right now has a little retracement, right? Because
mm-hmm.
it's lost from the 44% or 49%, whatever. But that happens when Bitcoin pumps. These AI tokens are pumping hard, and that just tells you AI is the number one
Are
trendy
these
narrative.
Mm-hmm.
these meme AI tokens? Is that what you're talking about?
AIXBT is an Ethereum
Yeah,
token that's also, it's
not a
wormholed on
meme.
all of the networks, so it's
Uh huh.
available on
Yeah,
all the networks. But it's a AI agent that you can tag on Twitter, and it does Twitter analytics basically. So I could say, hey, I think this Hyber ticker that I have looks like it's like very bullish right now. What do you think is going to happen in the next 24 hours? And then you tag AIXBT, and he will actually respond to your post. He's an automated AI agent, technical
Yeah, I
analysis.
just followed it right now.
AXBT is cool. I
Yeah.
tag him all the time for just insight, like to get a second opinion on things that I'll feel a certain way
Well,
about something. And so I'll tag him to see what he says, and he might throw some news at me that I was unaware of, you know?
Now, when you say it's wormholed, does that what does that mean exactly again?
It means that that same token, it's available cross networks. So you can get it on Solana, you can get it on like any network
it
essentially.
utilizes a wormhole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so okay. So when you do that, how do you do that?
Oh well,
The wormhole.
you can buy it on Phantom Wallet on Solana network. That's how I like to buy it because I don't like Ethereum gas, and I don't really hold that much Ethereum. I barely enough to cover my gas, so it just doesn't. But anyway, I just buy the
Okay.
Solana one because I
So
like
basic
Solana.
Yeah, so basically though when they wormhole it is it's wormholed on their end. You don't have to do anything on the user end.
Right, right,
Is
right.
what you're saying.
You're
That's
still
correct.
interacting
Yeah.
with the same. Everything's the same as it would be on Ethereum, except you're just using Solana to talk to it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just
Okay, so yeah,
okay.
that's cool.
And the wormhole will wormhole. You don't have to push a button.
SPX
Yeah.
Other than the
6900.
button that you're used
I
to
don't gotta
using.
go bridge nothing. Yeah, I don't gotta
J-
do anything.
just make sure
That's
that
what a wormhole
the token icon in the bottom left or whatever is matches up for what you want. Like if it's Ethereum or Solana, like make sure it's that logo for the network that you're buying it
So
on.
yeah, so in Phantom, if I'm using Solana, it would still be under Ethereum.
No, it will be under Solana. It'll be a Solana logo, and the ticker will be, I would use the contract address, but
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure.
but SPX 6900 is another one. I'm not trying to shill these, but these are just like
Yes, you are.
these. I don't, I don't really hold either of these,
No,
but
that's one.
I just
But look, we're
these are
trying to
like,
share everybody. Let's
yeah,
give a disclaimer. Everybody, what we're talking about, we're trying to figure out something nice to hold.
yeah,
To optimize ourselves a little bit on the areas that are hot. And so I see it like this. And this is not financial advice. We're just trying
mm,
to basically sometimes we're just figuring it out together. And somebody mentions a ticker, we go look, right?
yeah,
For me, it's like this. AI narrative, I guess we all know this. AI narrative is a thing. Love or hate it, but you can trade it. So I see it like this. Everything that has big utility, big AI utility, is like a blue chip AI, right? But I would actually see that meme AIs are going to fly just the same because when things go quickly, people look at it. It's the ticker has AI in it. I'm
mm-hmm.
buying, right? At one
What
point,
about? So you're talking about like
because
the
of the trend,
Trump,
it'll be like that. We
like the
saw that
Trump
with the
AI?
baby too.
Oh, sorry, I was having a technical
Yeah, well,
difficulty.
anything that has when we go into alt season, we have
Yeah,
this narrative of AI. No, as number one, what do you think is going to happen to coins that have AI in their name, even though they might be smoke and mirrors as far
pumpy,
as their utility? Yeah.
a little
So
pumpy.
every these meme AIs, when they have AI in their name, people are just gonna blind ape stuff, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
yeah, so right now we want to be in the utility lane because obviously those are gonna for sure run, right? People that looking for some floors of things that are bullish that have some utility. The more real utility it has, the better it will perform.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that shit tokens with AI will not fly. I would expect that to. We saw that the last time too.
Well, yeah, because people are going to
Anything
be
anything with the word game was something, and there was sometimes the game was still in development or beta and never came out of beta. But that
wow.
didn't the chart didn't give a shit, went to millions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why people were bullish on games. DeFi was last time really hot too.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw a lot of tickets with 555, and they went, and it's just so that is just going to be a thing. But looking for some quality right now, at that time I wouldn't know what meme coin would be good, AI meme coin. But right now I can pretty much dissect which ones with utility that are AI that are gonna do well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because these are out there.
Tars. Or yeah, Tars has
Yes,
utility. Hyber
yes,
has utility.
yes, yes.
Hyper,
So
actually, I got the 70,000 tokens yesterday. It was super cheap for Hyper, so I could like log in and look back at
yeah,
the
yeah,
little
I thought so too.
marketplace.
For
Yeah,
which one?
it's super cheap for Hyper,
Hibernate.
Like,
Hiber. Let me
oh,
see if I can get the ticker, or I mean the
I
ticker's
got
Hyper, but
I
the
got
contract
hyper liquid.
No, Hiber, like
with
in
the
hibernation.
I as in Iris, Hiber, and so Hyper.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
Hibernation, like bears do. Like we need the bears to do right now on
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
I don't even remember how I found Hyber. Honestly, it might have been on Asset Dash. Sometimes I go on
You
Asset
mentioned it.
Dash.
I
Yeah,
put it on my watch list
yeah.
and it was moving with some decent volume. I was like, yeah, if it comes down, I might want to enter.
Occasionally I'll find like a good one like this that like
Yeah.
checks all the boxes that I'm like, wow, like where the hell has this been?
I
Hyber was
found
kind of like that.
TARS. I found
Tars
TARS
is
AI
amazing.
for
Tars is even
yeah.
I'm jealous that you found Tars because I'm so I love it. That's a really good
Yeah.
coin.
Yeah, a long time ago too. So that is all gonna pull, and so that's just gonna. But people are gonna trade these blindly these AI tokens
Mm-hmm. Uh,
in when alt season happened. That's just because it's a narrative.
I
And you
went
saw
ahead.
that last in November too, right?
Yeah.
There's actually people were posting like all of my portfolio is just AI right now.
Bones,
So
I can go
people
ahead
do
and
that.
I can DM you that contract address if you're curious on Hyber.
Oh yeah,
Um, sorry to interrupt. I just while I have the contract
go ahead.
address handy, let me I'm gonna send it over to you, Bones, if you're interested in looking at it.
Send
I'm
me
not.
the SBX 69 one, whatever you were saying too.
Yeah, SPX 6900. That's do some research on what that is. Huge community of like diehard delusional, fanatics. But that's what it's gonna take in order to really hit like all time highs in the upcoming bull run in the next few months. And this is all speculation. What I don't. This isn't set in stone, but based on the things that Wilder's saying too about these signals that we're seeing, it looks like in the next like 3 months or so we are preparing for a rally. Those are what the indicators and signals are telling me, at least.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, I would say
speculation.
4 months out.
4 months, but do your own research. It's not financial advice, but these things are worth looking at just to kind of see what's out there. And the reason I mention them is because I kind of use them. Oh, shit, that's not the right one. Um,
Shit.
um,
Yeah, I'm doing
It's
some
about
research on something too that I think is going to be pretty good.
what
I'll
about
let you guys know about it pretty
Pokemon
soon.
Sui? What about Pokemon Sui? That's going to be the meta.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that'll be cool too.
that will be Bokasui.
Yeah, that's going to be rad.
Bokasui.
But
Yeah.
SBX 6900, it's worth looking into. It's an Ethereum. It's on the Ethereum ecosystem, but it's also wormholed. And yeah, just do some research on like what people think of it. Big
Yeah, do
community.
really good research because this is a recorded space, but I know things because I was there with the launch.
For
And
which one?
for SP.
No way. You're kidding me.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So the usual KOL.
Yeah, I use them as kind of an indicator. Like when I see what SPX is doing, it gives me
Mm-hmm.
indicators what the meme coins are going to do. Because people that are taking profit on XPX are going to be putting those profits into other meme coins and some of the other Murad
Yeah.
portfolio coins as well.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, if you spot that these trends, right,
Mm-hmm.
you can. That's why I always said put things on your watch list. You do not have to own things to be putting on your watch list. It's
Exactly.
very cool.
I watch so many things that I don't hold. Like those two I mentioned,
Yes.
AIXPT and SPX, I don't hold, but I
Yeah.
always use them as a reference to see how the
Yeah.
market's moving and see what else I might want to buy based on how those are performing. Because if I'm like, oh damn, like SPX is still
Yeah.
trading at 50 cents when I know it should be at least $1 or $1.50, I'm like, then the
Yeah.
market's down like crazy right now. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same.
So just that's Yeah, always alpha. Put things on your watch list, even though
Mm-hmm.
you don't own them. I put as much on my watch list as I can possibly. My brain can still function looking at them, right? So I'm looking at 300 tokens every day, and I just shoveled some things around so I can have a section with especially what the AIs are doing. And then you can spot trends in those too. So one trend that I spotted very early was the Bitcoin and Pepe relation, and
Mm.
then Pepe two underneath. So every time Pepe pumped, Pepe two started pumping with.
Uh-huh.
I actually made 4 really big trades just based on seeing that relation.
Mm.
So I was holding Pepe sell the top quickly by Pepe two, but Pepe two is at millions market cap, or not even. I think maybe 2 million today. I don't haven't looked, but compared to Pepe, so I was rotating Pepe out into Pepe two, and then I
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate somehow they got a KuCoin listing in that last run, and that was
That was
20.
positive? Was that a
That was
positive
20.
thing?
That was a 25x for me, straight up.
Oh, the
But
listing made
but
you.
I saw it.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but I didn't know about any of that. I just was like, all of the time I saw Bitcoin. Pepe is a blue chip meme, right? So it pulls on Bitcoin. Uh, they're trading it sometimes against each other. I saw that for a little while happening too. And if you check the volume, you can, and in and outflow, you can actually spot that.
Yeah.
And so when I held a lot of Pepe, sold near the top quickly on the same, like within half an hour, dumped everything that I had from that bag into Pepe two, because I saw that Pepe two was moving straight after Pepe was moving. So
Wow.
people were spotting the same, and everybody's
Mm.
rotating back into Pepe two.
Oh,
And
that's
Pepe
awesome.
two did a 25x. I mean, Pepe didn't, but Pepe two did. so
That's one
so
of the best feelings.
if you spot these trends, then you can almost see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just like, yes, this is going to be my strategy. This is what I'm going to do.
For me,
But
when I tap into that like stream, like that river of like momentum, and I can like actually
yeah,
feel myself moving with the market, like, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm dialed in, I'm locked in, and I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like that's like a magical feeling that like I've been
yeah.
chasing that one for like 3 months now in this
When
bear
you are
bear
one with
market.
the USDT,
Wow,
when
it's
you are one
awesome.
with your USDT,
Yeah. It's like you feel
yeah.
psychic. I'm like, yes, I'm tapped in. I know, like
And-
I'm thinking the same thing
yeah,
everyone else is right now. We're all doing it
yeah.
together. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your liquid flow.
Yeah, and doing it
Here,
without Telegram, because when you're doing it with Telegram, there's so many pitfalls with that. When it's, hey, I mean, I got over doing that approach, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't look into it because it's a bust. But that's
what do
just
you
my
mean?
my opinion. The
Signals or
signals, yeah,
shills?
yeah,
Yeah,
signals and stuff.
yeah.
That there's a lot of pitfalls there, so be
It
careful.
depends on what groups you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if you're a builder and a developer, of course, you are exposed to a lot more information.
Yeah, like TARS, for instance. You coming across
Yeah,
TARS like that, yeah, that's a
we're
godsend.
talking.
But
Also, because
99.9% is.
I've been in some really good Bitcoin maxi groups and stuff, and a lot of brainy people in there that I met in real life on conventions, right?
That's cool.
And the bigger your network is, your net worth, because they are looking for good projects too,
Mm-hmm.
and they are talking about things too, like, hey, right, I spotted this,
Yeah.
I spotted that, and then everybody will go look.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and
kind
then
of
I
what
mean
we're
even
doing
Sin
right
A,
here in
yeah,
small.
Sin AI,
Yeah,
Millie.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
so don't get me wrong. There's definitely Telegram's a great tool. It just don't look for finding easy money
Oh no,
on there,
no.
because all you will find out is that you need to work for your bag. That's you know what I'm saying. Work
Yeah.
for your bags is
Also, don't get. Sometimes this happens, and I saw that happen a lot. Sometimes people are in the TG of a token, and they are watching the TG all day, every day.
mhm,
So I use, when I'm in projects, I'll be in the TG, I'll join the group, and I'll be in there to ask some questions on occasion, right?
a great way to vet a coin. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I use it for that. But a lot of people are using, and they're just watching it on the daily, but they're not watching the chart. And what actually happens is that they sometimes uh, rotate their whole bag just because they are in the TG too much.
Mm,
Yeah, and they're not looking, right?
yeah.
Suddenly the buy bot will say, "Oh, let's say we're at 50 mil market cap, and there's buys there, and all of a sudden you're seeing a buy come in at 39 million,
Uh-huh. Time to bounce.
and it just bounced, but you're not looking at the chart,
Mm-hmm.
so you're too late for any move there.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah, bearish, bearish.
yeah. But yeah.
But you guys, we kept the shop open for an hour on a bearish day when X was super dry. I think X is super dry today, because people did not get paid from X, and now today they got that message that they violated some rules. So then they keep continuing what they do, and a lot of people gave up.
Yeah, I've heard that they're going to implement AI into the algorithm for,
Yeah,
managing, and so I'm very bullish on X still. I'm not going to let this little shakeout, deter me from, my goals, because I'm doing this because I love it ultimately.
yeah,
And so I'm like, as long as I keep doing it for that reason, and that it's not, you're not going to get rewarded for greediness in life in anything you do, really, so going
exactly.
into
I
X
think
and
it's
doing it just
also
with that mindset, oh, I'm going to do this
yeah,
until I start seeing rewards. It's like, no, then you're going to be working till your,
yeah.
your fingernails off. So,
So here was the thing with that monetization. So I guess having monetized your account for the future, whatever you want to do. But some people were actually living in an area in the world where, because it's not like a big pay from X by any means, right?
mhm.
But some people in parts of the world that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so, right, for them to have their blue tick paid for and then have some money that they could actually live off on, and would make sense to do. And now that they're, being worked against, they're not going to put in the effort anymore.
Yeah, that's tough. You
And
know.
yeah, that was solely because they just saw access their paycheck. They don't spot any other opportunities that you can make money in crypto. And so, but that takes some
What
a
is that?
broader view of things,
What's that
right?
game that they play in East Asia? That's is it Avi? It's a game where they have like little. Oh my gosh, why can't I? I'm gonna just shut up about it. It's a game though that they play in like Thailand and Vietnam and in the Philippines and stuff. And it's an online game where you have little characters like characters that you control. What are they called? Anyway, and they battle against each other. And so anyway, but it's like an NFT style platform with like tradable things that uses blockchain technology, and like long story
Oh,
short,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
people
AAV, is
yeah,
it
Infinity,
Ave? Yes.
Avi Infinity,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Infinity.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But people are actually using that to make a living in some of these
Yeah.
countries where if you're making $900 a month, you can be living a great life. So um, but I can't remember the name. It's like Avi Infinity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something
Anyway,
like
it's
that.
it's irrelevant, but that's something too that's kind of making a comeback, and that's also a token. There's a token that's tradable with that platform, and I haven't looked into it. I'm not a bag holder, but I know that there are people that in those third world countries that make a living with this. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're very quick when it comes to spotting some money making opportunities, but sometimes they only see it relating to that one thing. So having an audience on X can provide you with many avenues of income
Mm-hmm.
besides X,
Mm-hmm.
and they sometimes fail to see that,
Yeah.
because these things are kind of, when you did the X thing, it was kind of okay. If you put in this much effort, you get this much pay. It's
Right.
kind of predictable. So the other things you probably need a little bit longer to grind out to see results.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been telling some people, like, look, you speak decent English, go on Spaces, shill a project that has a referral,
How insane
right?
is it though that
Yeah,
but if your approach though is like, okay, I'm going to monetize X. what I'm going to do to accomplish this, I'm just going to send a reply to 2,000 people a day and just go reply, reply, reply. I'm not actually posting any content, contributing anything. I don't have, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, what do you expect is going to happen if you're just going on and doing 2,000 replies a day? You think, like, why would you get paid for doing that? Like, the whole approach is just fundamentally upside down. It's kind of comical.
Yeah. Although I do uh, need to put in the disclosure that, okay, I can see that, totally right. But now my account got hacked after 2 days after I paid for a year of premium plus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My account got hacked, my previous account. A lot of people that I knew, everything that I built up, 18,000 followers, of all people, good engagement, everything. And then I try to find a human at Twitter. So I'm a paying customer, and I have yet to talk to somebody that's a human. I get freaking bots and AI responses. So I'm like, hey, Elon, I kind of get where you come from, but can you give us then the same quality? It's kind of like,
Mm.
it's kind of shitty move. Once there is something wrong with your account, good luck finding a human at
That's
Twitter that
it's
can
so
help you
that's
out.
the worst that they just punked you like that. That's so like
Yeah.
that makes me
Well,
mad.
I'm not the only
Yeah,
one.
no,
I'm not the
sucks.
only one.
I've
You
lost
know,
multiple accounts now too because
you,
of freaking can't get a hold of them.
dude, we work hard for our money. And when I feel like somebody just, I'm just being disrespected, like, well, tough
Yeah.
shit, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's like, no, I worked hard for my money, and you guys should do something to make this right. Like, what?
So in,
You
in,
know,
in
it's crazy
euro,
too.
in
Oh,
dollars, it's less, right? But in euro, it's even more.
Yeah.
In euro, it's costing like 45 euro a
And then
month
the
for premium
and then
plus,
the
and
taxes
for a
on it
year,
too.
yeah, and then a year was 360 euro.
Wow.
That's for 400 something dollars. So I just paid that. 2 days later, account hacked,
yeah,
right? And
same.
and
I
and
paid
they,
for the
yeah,
year membership and then I freaking got suspended and then they
yeah.
don't refund you.
That's insane, dude. That's not right.
Well, you can prove you're a human, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they suspended you
Yeah, I
to.
couldn't get a hold of them though.
No,
I
that's it. Try. Good luck telling them.
yeah, I tried to get a hold of them multiple times.
Oh, Lamb, so you don't need to have your hand up, Lamb.
I didn't want to butt in there. I thought
What's
I was
up,
on
dude?
speaker for a long time, and then I looked down and I realized I was gonna comment, and I realized I had gotten booted off by probably X.
Uh, yes.
Speak of the
But
devil.
X has been
yeah,
weird today.
I
It's been
was
weird.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna chime in about that too. Like I think it is, I think a lot of people have put up with X's shenanigans and just kind
Yeah.
of leaned on the side of like, okay, you just gotta work harder, you just gotta figure it out, you gotta adapt, all this stuff. But I think you guys are right on track in regards that there's just got to be a better product delivered for what we pay for, and
Yeah.
at some point people have to demand that, otherwise they're going to keep getting away with what they do. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Like it's crazy, like that the stuff we put up with, like the customer service is like worse than what you'd expect from some company in the middle of China somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
It's
Yep.
insane. Like the fact that you can't get a hold of anybody, prove that it's you. You know, even after my account got stolen, which I would admit there was things that I did that led to that, right? And I own that. But the fact that I can't like somehow prove that I am who I am to them
Yeah.
and get that back and prove that the whole history, I had that account going back to 2009. I can't prove the history of that being me and the IP address that came from.
And they
None
Yeah.
of
haven't.
it's been hidden. I'm not using a VPN. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
You
crazy.
They
can't
could
you can't do any of
verify
that.
you, yes, but they
Yeah, just
refuse
one
to.
one human could look at that
Yeah.
for 5 minutes and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, I
Same
get
with
it.
me. I paid
You
with
got
my
stolen."
bank, right? I'm a I got hacked.
Same here.
I could prove that I was hacked.
Right, right.
And that the hacker displayed some behavior which got me suspended. That's basically what happened. But I got hacked. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
proof that I got hacked, right? I can even tell you who I am with my bank account because you
Yeah.
know this. That's what I paid from, right? And then still no human. And then somebody else said, well, here's an email of an insider. So basically, you have to know people on the inside. But then I emailed that guy, and that turned out not to be working there anymore. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, well, does anybody have more insiders here that I need to email? Because if you have then insider information, then it's going to be solved,
Right.
right? But if you don't have that, then we're just stuck in the same loop. I waited for 5 6 months,
Wow.
Yeah, it's
right?
crazy.
And
Yeah, and
every
for me,
time I opened the thing, I was like, I want to talk to somebody.
yeah, yeah. And for
Imagine if
me,
you
I was
go ahead.
verified with my ID on file,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I had been paying, from my American, credit card for the
yeah,
service and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's crazy and it's sad at the same time because I get what they're trying to do with
yeah,
the bots
Mm-hmm.
and everything, but the ambiguity of how to build and how to build uh, a secure and reliable business on X is getting worse and worse. And that's
Mm.
going to drive people away that they're just not going to want to build on X anymore.
Yeah.
Right? If you're thinking about somebody building their livelihood and something that they're going to rely upon as an income,
yeah.
Exactly.
and a source for their and a reliable tool for their business, they're going to start moving to other alternatives like people did with YouTube and Rumble and
Yep,
stuff because of the censorship,
yep.
right? So
That is going to be a thing.
it's
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, if they're going to flag people for being bots, then I like to talk to a human because you wanted me to be a human too, which I can prove. But I need another human to verify that I'm human because obviously your AI stuff is not picking up on it.
yeah,
so,
yeah.
so, yeah, that's a
But
basic. And I think that's fair. That's fair because we're paying customers.
one other thing about the market here, if I could,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Go ahead.
I think that when it comes to the markets making big moves, right? The market
Yeah,
makers do not want the majority to win when
yeah,
there's a big move, and I feel like the last week or so where we've been sitting around the 95 and we had moved up quickly to that positioning, right?
Yep.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um, I think that all of the little wick candles that we've had coming down, that have scared the alts, that have scared those probably in certain positions in Bitcoin, have not been enough and have not been convincing enough to shake enough people out, except for today. I think today, with the way that we're testing the range, we even came out of the range a little bit,
yeah,
and on some higher time frames, that's just going to be a little wick, right?
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think that that is maybe enough to do it. So I would just be careful how you're playing it and watching it. I
mhm,
think that we could see a move up that's so fast that it leaves
yeah,
everybody behind and it allows that dominance to go straight up to 70 because the alts are not going to believe for a little bit. They're going to
yeah,
they're going
Mm-hmm.
to lag behind,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if we shoot to 100,000, in the next day or two, I believe it would do just that.
But
I,
the
I think those alts
disbelief.
would be
Yeah.
really delayed and they would be like a rubber band,
Yeah,
like a day late or so, and they would just start to fly 20, 30+% and catch up,
I think they're
and
gonna
that's where
wait
we'd
till
see a
strike.
relief rally.
That's what I mentioned with I'm still 80% bullish and 20% of that is just vibes, and that's the vibe that you're explaining right
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
seeing
I
how
agree.
how the market makers tend to behave, and so they know indicators too, right? They are looking and they know people are waiting for a down, and so they're just gonna shake a little out here and there, and they are actually the bears right now. So and they also know that they can drop it back to 91.9 and we'd still be bullish, but a lot of people won't see it. A lot of people, it will scare a lot of people. So
It will.
we're hanging out there. We're hanging out on top.
But I see what you're
Where the
saying.
heck?
That oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was about to
I
switch
just got
topics
the
for a
I
second.
got the chart up though, and I just wanted to affirm what Lamb was saying about you go on the 1 week time frame and you can
Yeah.
see it looks like we're in that little disbelief period of the bear trap right before the
Yep.
rally.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. It
Yo,
also made the same moves in what was it when we moved up Was that? Hold on, where were we? Yeah, it's making that same move that it did in. Where was it? Trying to find it. Where's May here? September, October. Oh, I need it on a different time frame. I'm sorry. Look at underwear. Yeah, we kind of made the same move in 23, right? Last year in May, we kind of made the same moves. We kind of fell through, lost that 200, challenging the 200, losing it, regaining it, dancing upon it, right? And then suddenly the rip. And yeah, so we're looking at the same. I'm still like 80% bullish.
The one that went from
At this,
60,000 up to 72
yeah,
in May.
I'm just yeah out of nowhere too, right? And well, seemingly out of nowhere, and but I'm just not too sure. I'm ready for a big move. I'm just not too sure if we're going to take out the all-time high. That's just me. You know, maybe I'm being a little bit bearish on that, but for me that's even Steven. I don't.
We will
It
just
all
see.
depends.
Yeah, I think we will see hundreds of millions of dollars liquidated before it gets to the all-time high, as it hits the 10, like right at the 99 mark or whatever. We will just see
Oh,
fat dips
look,
of market
don't get
manipulation.
delusional. That all-time high will give resistance, right? It will.
Uh-huh.
How much? How much? If it's not that much, and we can bump and run on like the 100. What was it? 104, something like that. We can bump run there. Then we're gonna be so Gucci. Then we can make an all-time high. If we get punished there, and I guess because the reason I feel so bearish around that is because the market is never bullish come June. We have all of May basically
Hmm.
to do it. I would be more bullish if we do that in the first half of May. That was my prediction. I am less bullish on the second half of May, and I'm bearish on June, on this happening in June, right? So if we do not take out that all-time high, we do not have it, we get punished down, then it would take too long for us to have another attempt before summer kicks in, right? That would take us weeks.
Yeah.
So, so if we get punished hard and get sent back, but if we don't get punished hard and we get, of course, we're going to see some red coming from that all time high. When we reach it again, there's going to be people have orders there, the bears there. Everybody knows this. You can trade on this. So, um, if I need to see something like a little punishment, but nothing too much. Nothing that would send us all the way down to the 95 level again or the 100, right? We need to then stay above 100, that psychological barrier of 100, in order to create a new all time high quickly after that, right? And that's just time wise for me. Time wise, I've never seen Bitcoin pump in the summertime. And if we get a hard rejection, especially on a daily, it's going to take, we just did like 2 weeks of work to get to where we are right now. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if we get punished, it's going to delay everything by 2-3 weeks if we're still bullish on it. And then we're creeping up on summer. And then I'm not, then I'm a little bit more bearish on that timeline then.
Yeah. Well, look at
And then I'm
today.
just,
Look at crypto Twitter today. It's like, if that's what the summer's gonna look like,
oh,
ghost town.
even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse.
I'm
To
still
me, that's a
bullish.
bullish sign, though,
Yeah.
that this many people disappeared today
Oh, yeah.
is super bullish because that tells me that the intended effect of the chart right now is working.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
Playing the
it's
psyche
working. And
of,
if you look, like I'm looking at Solana here, well, and Bitcoin, right? How
yeah.
fast it jumped back up. But
Yeah.
even Solana just broke its old resistance between the 144 and 146. It just poked
Yeah.
right through it again already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wants to get back in that range
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So I think Bitcoin has got a move coming sooner than later. So,
Yeah. On the 1 minute chart on Solana.
1 minute.
Well, let me see here. I'll put
what about the
on
1 minute?
one. Well, he was saying that how it just poked through. Or are you looking at the 1 hour on Solana?
Yeah, on the 1 hour, you can see it, how it
Yeah.
wicked up a little bit just a minute
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Good.
I-
Making a higher high there, right? actually, I think for Solana, that wick that we see on the, oh, hold on, it looks like that wick of, when was it? Last Saturday, it created a wick on 153,
Mm.
and it looks like that wick is pulling, is being magnetic. It looks like it wants to go there. These wicks sometimes I'll go back in the chart and I see, right, that it wants to pull up on something. Something is magnetic there. Sometimes there's something bearish there driving it on the bottom, right? But sometimes these little flagpoles, these wick, these sell zones where people are already selling there, and possibly they're not going to sell there again. That's what it looks like to me, especially because it was, these candles on their own didn't have a wick on the down. And when you spot these candles, price usually wants to go back there.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of people taking a loss. Yeah.
So bullish on that. That looks magnetic. And the same goes for the same I spotted for Bitcoin on that 95. There's a wick on a 95.3. And that's the one suppressing. But it wants to go back there, right? To challenge it again. Now that whole candle looks a bit different than that. It could have been more bullish. But yeah, what are we looking at? What do we need to take? We need to take out, at least we need to short term take out that 95.7 or something. What is that? 95.78. That is going to be a thing, but not really big thing. But this is gnarly resistance, you guys. This is overall gnarly resistance. So we knew that was going to be gnarly resistance, and market makers noticed too. And we're not far off, right? We're so close, so close. It's so close. I don't know if people realize that how close we are. But, yeah.
On the Neo Bullux, how do you get to your private key?
Ooh, I think you can do that in the TG.
Oh, yeah. Let me try that.
Yes, it's in your TG. You can do that in TG. TG. Yeah, guys. So, I need to close up the space. You know why? Because I still got to mow my grass.
Oh. All right, let's go.
I still got to mow my grass.
Make sure you cut the grass low so you
Uh,
can see all the snakes.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It's the grass. I'm ashamed, but it's it's right halfway up my calf. That's how high my grass is. So that's I'm should be ashamed of that. It just grew so quickly, and I
You
had
should
so little time.
take a time lapse video of you cutting it. Those are like, have you
so
seen those?
satisfying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, don't mind if I just don't do that and just save myself the half hour setting up a camera and stuff and doing all that.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll just get it done. It will be like 20 minutes work, but it's always something that I just like, yeah, I do it tomorrow before I leave. And then these things never happen.
Then tomorrow comes. Yeah.
So, but now it looks like it's embarrassing right now. So I gotta go fix it, you guys.
Awesome.
Because I'll be in Lamb Space tomorrow. So check out Lamb's profile and set your reminders there for Lamb Space, the crypto moonlight. I see Mac is in the house there too now, Mac. Hello. And I'll see you guys tomorrow then for this one. And let's hope we get to be bullish in the moonlight. If not, you guys, we do 100 reps of something because, even the market is standing still. There's still something you can 100x quite easily in the 10 to 15 minutes, actually. So get some exercise to Tic.
Let's go.
All
You
right.
kind of have to.
That's funny.
Catch you later, you guys.
Appreciate it, Wild.
For
Later,
that
you guys.
space, and then we'll see you all then.
Appreciate it, Tic.
Have
See
a
ya.
good time.
Cool.
Thank you again, Tic. And
Thank you.
that worked out well. We're streaming now on Space and on YouTube, you guys. So we managed to accomplish something today. Have a good one.
All right.
Later.
See you later. Bye.
Stay bullish.